Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're exploring a spot in Kashmir that has a completely fascinating duality. We're talking about a place defined by a highly structured, rigid military reality on one hand, and spine-chilling local legends on the other. It's the Udhampur Army Quarters, and let me tell you, the contrast here is absolutely captivating.
Okay, let's dive right into this. You know, when you hear the word Kashmir, you probably instantly think of the phrase heaven on earth, right? You picture those lush valleys, serene lakes, breathtaking snow-capped mountains. But there's a darker, much more mysterious side that's claimed to be hidden in the valley. So what exactly haunts the bravest soldiers in Kashmir between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m.? It's quite a jarring shift from those beautiful postcards, isn't it? To truly understand this vibe, we gotta zoom out and look at the broader region for a second. Kashmir is actually home to a ton of local supernatural legends. You've got the Gakadal Bridge, where locals claim you can literally hear the eerie echoes of past tragedies. Then there's Kuni Nala on the Jammu-Srinagar highway, which is infamous for a spirit that's said to actually cause car accidents. Oh, the twin villages of Kun and Pushpara are also enveloped in their own heavy, dark histories. And get this, there's even a haunted tree in the forest of Gurez that locals absolutely refuse to touch on a new moon. No way. This whole eerie, mysterious atmosphere, it sets the perfect stage for what we're really focusing on today. The Strategic Northern Command, a crucial military hub. Before we get into all those whispers in the dark, we absolutely need to ground ourselves in the cold, hard facts of what Udhampur is during the daylight hours.
So Udhampur is nestled up at an elevation of 756 meters. Now, why does that specific geographical detail matter to us? Well, it serves as the absolute nerve center for operations near the highly sensitive line of control. Its strategic proximity basically allows the Indian Army to rapidly deploy and efficiently coordinate forces across the entire region. Make no mistake about it, this is a place of very serious, high-stakes military operations.
And this brilliantly illustrates what goes on when the sun is up. During the daylight hours, the routine for these soldiers is incredibly intense, defined by rigorous training exercises and integrating some really cutting-edge technology to monitor threats. But, it's not just combat prep. The troops here are heavily involved in the local community. They run medical camps, host educational workshops, and they even lead massive afforestation drives to protect the fragile Himalayan ecosystem. Plus, they act as critical first responders for humanitarian aid during natural disasters. It is literally a hub of extreme discipline, serious environmental commitment, and life-saving operations.
Roots of the cantonment, building the stage. To fully grasp the vibe of the Udhampur quarters, we kind of need to rewind and understand the architectural history of the base. We need to look at the physical stage where both these elite military operations and these spooky local legends actually play out. Tracing the evolution of this military base, it actually started way back during the British Raj as just a strategic military outpost. But by the late 19th century, thanks to a huge boom in economic activity, it expanded rapidly. It basically became a mini-city designed specifically for European troops. Fast forward to today, and these historic grounds serve as the massive Northern Command headquarters of the Indian Army. The very streets and plots they walk on right now were shaped by historical British urban design policies.
And a massive piece of that architectural puzzle is the bungalow. It's this residential building form that fuses the detached rural Bengal house, the bungalow, with your classic British suburban villa. Back in the day, the size of the compound and the style of the bungalow were strictly used to symbolize hierarchy, status, and power within the military structure. So just imagine these grand, historic, incredibly structured buildings serving as the everyday backdrop to the lives of the soldiers today.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a really stark contrast. On one hand, we have the daytime reality we just laid out. Rigorous training, high technology, and absolute unquestionable order. But on the flip side, we have the nighttime legends, inexplicable sounds, floating apparitions, and some really deep-seated local fears. That jarring contrast between heavily armed, incredibly rational soldiers and these untouchable, supernatural claims that plague the area at night, that's exactly what makes Udhampur so deeply fascinating.
Which brings us to this very specific, very chilling window of time. 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. According to the source reports and local rumors, this right here is the witching hour in the quarters. It's the time when ghouls and spirits are said to, visit the earth.
The witching hour, sensory encounters in the dark. Let's explore exactly what locals and guards claim happens when the lights go out, the temperature drops, and the whole base just goes dead quiet.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer variety of the sensory encounters reported in the sources. It's honestly chilling. We're talking about visual claims of floating apparitions emitting this sort of sickening pale light, reports of a chudile or witch that appears just to vanish instantly into thin air. Or actually, scratch that, black smoke rather. Guards out on night patrol claim to have seen a dark, motionless shadow just sitting high up in the trees. And it's not just visual stuff either. There are reports of inexplicable noises, heavy footsteps, and whispers actually following the soldiers as they walk their routes.
But perhaps the most terrifying claim from the sources is this auditory encounter, a blood-curdling screech that rings through the barracks before the entity vanishes into the sky. Seriously, imagine being a highly trained soldier, standing guard alone in the dead of night, and hearing that echo off those historic bungalow walls we talked about. I mean, it completely shatters all the logic and order of military life, doesn't it?
Courage amidst the creepy, facing the unknown. This is exactly where the two realities of Udhampur we've been building up to finally collide.
So, the crucial point is this ultimate tension. Think about it. You've got soldiers who are trained to combat modern warfare. They're equipped to handle complex cyber threats, intense physical combat, and extreme geographical conditions. Yet, according to these local legends, they're simultaneously facing ancient, untouchable entities that completely defy any sort of military logic. The extreme, rigid discipline of these quarters actually makes these reports of the paranormal significantly more compelling. You know? Because these aren't people prone to panic or wild imaginations. They are highly trained observers.
Which leaves us with this final thought to really ponder. Are these the spirits of fallen warriors, forever bound to the historic cantonment? Or is it something far more ancient, watching from the shadows of the Himalayan foothills? It's a mystery that beautifully blends the hardest facts of modern military strategy with our deepest, oldest fears of the unknown. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it gave you a whole new perspective on Udhampur.